It's the matchup presented by Draftkings. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. Welcome back in. It is U.S. Open week. We are in the New York City area at one of my favorite U.S. Open venues, Winged Foot. Why is that? Well, we are going back to the traditional U.S. Open style golf that challenges every single club in your bag. We are going to see a bloodbath this week at Winged Foot. You go back to when it was here, the U.S. Open 2006. You remember Phil Mickelson threw it away on the last hole. Jeff Ogilvy walked through the door and won the U.S. Open back in 2006. The cut line in 2006 at the U.S. Open at Winged Foot, it was +9. Last week at the Safeway, it was -5. Yeah, +9 was the cut the last time the U.S. Open was here. Ogilvy was +5 when he won that major championship. I love this venue. It's a big golf course. It's about 2,200 longer than it was in 2006. You're looking at probably just under 7,500 yards here. Par 70, of course, as USGA likes to come in, take some of those shorter par 5s and make them into really long par 4s, as they did with the 5th hole. It's going to be a par 4 playing about 502 yards. The first hole is actually one of the most difficult holes, 451 par 4. In the last hole, the 18th, one of the more difficult holes, 469 yards par 4. The two par 5s, you have one on 9, plays at 565. And then you have another one on 12 that's going to play about 633 yards. The 11th hole is an interesting hole, short par 4, 384 yards. Rumor has it Bryson will be hitting driver there. Another short one, the 6th, 321-yard par 4. But you're going to be seeing a lot of long par 4s on this golf course, so you're going to have to hit the ball in the fairway. Now, where this course is going to be a little bit different than, say, TPC Harding Park for the PGA. Yes, there were some really long spots on that golf course, but there were a lot of areas where they hit it into that they could really play it, right? It encouraged them to play a shot if the lie was okay. We saw a lot of that. Here, you're going to be seeing them just hack it out back into the fairway. They're not going to be able to advance the ball very far at all. So premium on fairways, as I look at how I've built my model here. Of course, strokes gain approach is going to be up there, but this strokes gain off the tee game is a big one. The total driving stat, which takes distance and fairways into consideration. I've been spending a lot of time on that. I'm probably going to even give up a little distance here to hit more fairways. You've got to play from the fairway consistently. You're going to have to be patient. Of course, you're going to miss some fairways. Everybody's going to be hacking it out of the rough and back into the fairway. You're going to miss some greens. So you're going to have that polished short game around the greens to get the ball up and down. You're going to need to be a good lag putter. You're going to need to be able to make those 7-8 footers to kind of keep the round going, those par-saving types of putts. So you need the complete player, but you have to stay under the salary cap because you just can't take DJ, Rom, JT, Berger, X-Man, right? But you have to manage the salary cap, and that's where I come in. I help you find those value picks, guys that are going to help you do well here. I'll tell you, I was doing great going into the weekend at the Safeway, and then all hell broke loose, and everybody just started climbing up the leaderboard, and then here comes 47-year-old Stuart Sink, and he wins for the 7th time. I didn't see that, and my lineups didn't do very good come the end of the day on Sunday. So we're going to fix that. We've been on to a pretty good run here through the playoffs. We're going to pick it back up again here at the U.S. Open. Get into DraftKings. No better time to play fantasy sports right now. Every sport is cruising. The NFL, college, NBA, MLB. Golf is cruising here with the U.S. Open. I'll tell you what. Download the app. Use promo code Travis, and I'll give you a free $3 value voucher that gets you into a game that has $100,000 in total prizes. And then I do my own game, the Stripe Show. Get into it. $5, throw it in. I pay out to the winner. We have a lot of fun with that. One day leader, fantasy sports, DraftKings. No better time. Every sport is cruising. Let me help you fill out your lineup for the U.S. Open. All right, now in this first segment, usually we go head-to-head style. Not going to go head-to-head this week. We're going to go a little bit different. We're going to go through the favorites here, the top dollar players. I'm going to give you a few thoughts on how I'm going to play or not play some of these guys. And of course, we got to start with Dustin Johnson, 11,500. No surprise. This is a guy that has bode well at the U.S. Open, and he is playing some terrific golf right now. First at the Tour Champs, second at the BMW, first at the Northern Trust, second at the PGA, first at the Travelers. DJ has it going. He was T35 last year at the U.S. Open, third and 18. Of course, he won it in 2016 at Oakmont, and then in just that heartbreaking style T2 in 2015 at Chambers Bay, where Jordan Spieth won that U.S. Open. John Rahm comes in just underneath him at 11,000. Number 2 ranked player in the world, first at Memorial, 13th at the PGA, 6th at the Northern Trust, first at the BMW, 4th at the Tour Champ. Last year, Rahm, T3 at the U.S. Open, missed the cut in 2018 and 17, and then was T23 in 2016. What's interesting with both these guys, not only are they the 2 hottest players in the world, not only do they have strengths in all of the areas that you need here to win a U.S. Open, but they love POA too. That's one of their best surfaces, is putting on POA greens. I'm going to have a card or two where I play both of these guys. Okay, I feel like if you play one, you might as well play both, and then you got to fill some value guys underneath in that 6,000 range. It's going to be difficult to get all 4 of those guys underneath to make the cut, but I'll probably play a couple different combinations, and I'll give you some names here later on in the show. Now, the other way that I'm going to be playing it is I'll have some cards without those 2 where I can then fill in some guys maybe in the 8,000 range, maybe a guy in the low 9,000 range, and I'll let you know some of those guys that I like as well here later in the show. But rounding out the 10,000s, you have Justin Thomas, 10,700. You know, it's interesting with JT right now. I know he was second at the Tour Champ, played pretty well there. But before that, really, the 4 tournaments leading up to that, he really hasn't been playing that well. He won the WGC St. Jude back in early August. But you look at 4 of the last 5 tournaments, he is losing strokes with the putter. That is concerning to me. He won WGC and lost 2 strokes with the putter. Lost 3.5 at the PGA, lost 4th at the Northern Trust, lost 3.2 at the Tour Champ. The putter is a question mark. I'm probably going to pass on JT. Rory McIlroy's at 10,500. He was T9 last year at the U.S. Open. He's missed the cut 2018, 17, and 16. He just had a new child. I've had 2 babies, and I can tell you right now, new babies are usually not great for the golf camp. I'm going to pass right now on Rory McIlroy. Xander Schauffele, 10,100. I love me some Xander. He will be headlining 1 or 2 of my lineups this week. T3 last year at the U.S. Open, T6 in 2018, T5 in 2017. He's got the complete game. Strokes gained off the tee. The X-Man is 8th. Approach, 37th. Around the green, 37th. Putting, 33. Strokes gained total. He's 3rd on the PGA Tour. And, oh, yeah, his best surface, POA. I like the way Xander Schauffele is rolling. Colin Morikawa comes in at 10,000. We know this is a really good, talented young player. We know we're going to get it. Strokes gained off the tee, 19th. Approach, he's 2nd. Around the green, 93rd. Putting, 128. Strokes gained total, he's 4th. If we get a good putting week from Colin with those fairways and greens, like he can get it going, of course, he will be a factor. I think for $100 more, I think overall X-Man is probably the more rounded player. So of those 2, I will probably be taking Xander Schauffele to headline some of my other lineups with some guys in the 9,000s and the 8,000 filling that in. So let's move into that next group, the 9,000 and above in segment 2. Segment 2 going 9,000 and above. We're going to play the 4-word game here. I'm going to say the player, and then I'm going to condense my thoughts to 4 words on what I'm thinking here, and then back that up a little bit. Let's start with Bryson DeChambeau. He's coming in at 9,900. What happened approach game? I mean, seriously, all of this distance off the tee. We saw the run Bryson went through there as he won the Rocket Mortgage. And then before that, the Travelers, RBC, Charles Schwab, API, WGC Mexico, Genesis. He was in the top 10 in all of those events. Fourth at the PGA, albeit, but it's been a struggle. I got to tell you, in particularly in the approach game, losing 2 at the Tour Championship, losing 5.5 at the BMW, losing 2 at the Northern Trust, losing 7 at WGC. The approach game is a concern to me. The emotional stability is a concern to me for DeChambeau. I'll pass. Webb Simpson, 9,700. Hit, driver, very straight. Webb is hitting his driver much better this year, hitting more fairways. If he can hit fairways consistent, let's say be in the top 10 in fairways hit, let his hybrid and long iron game go to work. He's a beautiful long game player. We know he can putt. I like Webb here. T16 last year, T10 in 2018 in the U.S. Open. Let's hit some fairways, Webb. I like where we're going. Patrick Cantlay, 9,400. 4-game word. Worried about approach game. Now, the one thing with Cantlay that you know, he plays tough courses well, right? He kind of grinds. He's one of those guys that is not only going to, it's not always going to flash, right? Thursday and Friday, but then all of a sudden there's Cantlay, right? He is on the leaderboard late on Saturday and then into Sunday. He's tough. He's patient, but just his recent trend, missed the cut at the Northern Trust, 12th at the BMW, didn't even make it to East Lake. Just the approach game, much like Bryson, is probably going to make me pass. Up next, Daniel Berger. Take the next step. It's time. He's got 3 wins, but this is not the St. Jude before it was a WGC. This is not the Schwab. This is the U.S. Open. And when you look at Berger statistically, he checks all the boxes. Strokes gained off the tee, 27th. Approach, 34th. Around the green, 28th. Putting, 17th. Strokes gained total. He is 6th. And oh, by the way, he's great on POA. To me, this is just now that mental state for him. Coming in, taking the next step in his career, like Gary Woodland did last year, and now winning a major championship. Daniel Berger probably will be in one of my lineups. I'm going to give Webb the slight edge over Berger. We get to Hideki Matsuyama. Hideki, one of those players in this range, just above 9,000, plays tough courses well. That's my 4 words. He plays tough courses well. He's won at Memorial, 3rd at the BMW. That was probably the most comparable that we're going to see here at Winged Foot. And I see a little trend with the putting. The putting is getting better. He's been in the positive strokes gained 4 of the last 5 tournaments. He lost a half a stroke at the Tour Championship, but the flat stick has been better. I've just come to the conclusion that when I put Hideki in my lineup, which I'm going to this week, that I just close my eyes because he's going to grind. He's tough. This is the kind of venue that I think Hideki can do okay at. Brilliant short game player, trending the right way with the putter. In the 9,000s, I'm going to play me some Webb. I'm going to play me some Hideki and maybe just a hint of Daniel Berger as well. Tiger Woods versus Matthew Fitzpatrick. Where'd that come from? The $8,000 value and above. We're going to get to Tiger and Fitzpatrick here in a second, but Fleetwood, Tommy Fleetwood, he's at 8,900. I'm going to pass. Fleetwood has lost the approach game. I have no idea what's going on. 6.3 negative at Wyndham, 6.6 negative at the Northern Trust. I'm out. Jason Day, he had a nice little run there. Approach game was nice and improved, but unfortunately, it's fallen apart. The approach game well into the negatives like Fleetwood in the last 2 events. Adam Scott, 8,700. Man, he just hadn't played a lot of golf. Has done okay in recent U.S. Opens. I think I'm going to pass on Adam Scott. Patrick Reed, 8,500. Recent form, U.S. Open, T32. 4th T13, cut T14. I have been on the wrong end of Patrick Reed, it seems, all year. I will flip a coin late on Wednesday night to decide if I play Patrick Reed. Justin Rose, 8,400. I have no idea what Justin Rose is doing. I have absolutely zero idea what Justin Rose is doing with his game. I'm out. Ricky Fowler, 8,300. Just feels still like we're kind of in this in between with his new swing, working hard on changing some things. Wingfoot feels like the wrong place to get going sideways in between swing changes. But who knows? Maybe he's further along now with a few weeks off. He certainly had some time to work on it. Scotty Scheffler, unfortunate, 8,200, is out due to COVID-19. That's a tough break. Tyrrell Hatton, 8,100. Love me some Tyrrell. I've been playing him all year, playing great early. Had a little bumpy stretch there, but he's back now. T26 in 2019, T6 in 2018. You know I'll be playing some Tyrrell Hatton. Victor Hovland, 8,100. Interesting. Hovland played good last year in the U.S. Open, but I saw some stuff on Instagram where he's now another teacher posting some of his swing to work. Is he jumping around now with teachers? I just see that and I scratch my head and I get concerned. I think I'm going to pass. No disrespect to any teacher. Just like, what are we doing here? Are we overcoaching or I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to pass on Hovland this year. Matthew Fitzpatrick at 8,000. I've got him going against Tiger Woods. I like Fitzpatrick. It's an interesting game. When you look at Matthew Fitzpatrick, it fits the mold for this kind of golf. His strength, strokes gained off the tee, 59th. Strokes gained putting, 2nd. Strokes gained total, 16. Not a great iron player, not great around the greens, but he's a guy that's going to keep the ball in front of him off the tee, and he's going to make some putts. I like Matthew Fitzpatrick at 8,000. Current form at the U.S. Open, T12, the last 2 years. This is a guy that'll be in my lineup. He's going against Tiger Woods. Now, I know, Tiger Woods, right? You're such a homer, right? Well, if you take the name off of the current statistics and trends of this player, Tiger Woods, there's no way in hell that you would ever play him, right? Because his putting has been atrocious. He's one of the worst putters on the PGA Tour right now, 3 putting at a alarming rate. But I think the one thing you have to take into consideration with Tiger is Tiger, to me, is preparing for one thing, and that's major championships. He has 15, Jack has 18. That's on the radar. Tournaments leading up to it, if he doesn't feel 100%, there's no way this guy is pushing it. I think he's hitting shots in previous tournaments, preparing for the U.S. Open. It's hard to get motivated week in and week out. Tiger is trying to peak for major championships. I am not going to second guess him anymore. The guy was on his back, couldn't even get up and do anything because of the condition that his back was in. He's healthy. It's going to be warm conditions up there. This is the kind of golf course that he likes. He can hit the squeeze cut out there. He's still brilliant with the approach game. His short game is fine. I have no doubt that he'll clean up the putting. If he can get up off of the bed and get his body right, he can clean up some 3-putt avoidance. I like Tiger. I think it's all about trending for major championships. Here we are, U.S. Open. He's won 3 of them. He's won 15 majors. He's won 82 events. Tiger Woods is in my lineups with Matthew Fitzpatrick out of the 8,000s. And, oh yeah, give me my boy, Tyrrell Hatton, too. Final segment here on the matchup presented by Draftkings. Thanks for being with us. No time is better than right now to have the Draftkings app on your phone. I'll tell you what, set up a new account, use a promo code Travis, and I'll give you a free $3 voucher that gets you into the game where you put together your lineup for the U.S. Open, and there's $100,000 in total prizes. Other games, including that you can play in once you're in there. You can put an entry into the big game. that's worth $1 million to the winner, 2.25 total prizes. And then, of course, there's the NFL, there's Major League Baseball, there's the NBA. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on right now. I can't even wait for things to get started here at the U.S. Open. Value picks, I have been pretty good here. With our run of shows here over the last 15 weeks or so. This is where you got to really round out your lineups now. You need some guys in this 7,000, 6,000 range, depending upon how you play the top end of your lineup. Now, I'm going to have a couple that have heavy DJ and ROM, right? So you're heavy up top there. And then you're going to have some guys low 7 into the 6s, 4 guys that you can think can make the cut and go. I feel good about some picks here, and I'll get to those here in a second. Now, I'm also going to have some lineups where I'll lead off with a Xander, and that'll free me up a little bit for a guy in 9,000, a guy or two in the 8,000s, but I still need a guy down here in the 7s, maybe 6s, again, that can make the cut and make some noise. So let's start in the $7,000 range. Matthew Wolff, 7,700. I like Matthew Wolff here. I said earlier in the year, next step for Wolff, consistency, some maturity. You're seeing all of that right now with Matthew Wolff. He is showing some real consistency on the PGA Tour. He's long. I think he's hitting the ball extremely well right now. Can he do enough with his putter? I think he can to make the cut and make some noise. We saw him run up the leaderboard at the PGA. Sanjay M, 7,500. Sanjay, nobody was affected more than probably Sanjay and Rory from the COVID stoppage. He was playing some great golf, the former Rookie of the Year. Went through a very tough stretch there. I think he's back now and playing some good golf once again. Sanjay had a good finish at the Tour Championship. I like Sanjay in some of my lineups at 7,500. Brendan Todd, 7,400. I said at the beginning of the show, I'll sacrifice some distance for more fairways. Brendan Todd fits that mold. I think we underestimate Brendan Todd consistently. This is a great player. He can fairway and green you to death for 4 rounds, and I think we're going to need that kind of player here at Wingfoot. Louis Oosthuizen, 7,600. I kind of brush him to the side sometimes, but yet there he is on the leaderboard on the weekend. Current run at the U.S. Open, T7 last year, T16 the year before, T23 the 2 years before that, and then a tie for second the year before that. Louis knows how to play U.S. Open courses. Henrik Stenson, 7,200. Last 2 years, T9, T6. Hadn't played a lot this year, but Stenson certainly has experience at U.S. Open courses. Siwoo Kim, in my model, comes out very well, 7,200. He's been playing good. So those are some guys in the 7,000 range that I'm looking at. Now we get down into the 6,000 range. There's Ches Reavie at 6,900. I like Ches. He was third last year at the U.S. Open. He was third at the Safeway last year. He's a player that can hit a lot of fairways. Can he do enough with the putter is the key. POA is his favorite surface. So I like Ches at 6,900. There's Sam Horsfield at 68. You're probably asking, who the hell is that? He's coming from the European Tour. He's won twice over there this year. Sam is a good, polished young player. Can he be that European on Thursday or Friday that kind of runs up the leaderboard and you're like, who's that guy? I think Sam Horsfield has the chance to be that specific name that people don't know a lot about. Kevin Streelman, 6,700. He too was third at the Safeway, tied with Ches. And Streelman's one of those players that kind of flashes, right? Once in a while. We know he plays good at the Travelers, and you know he has his moments. And I think with Streelman, he's going to hit the ball straight. He's going to hit fairways. He's not long. Can he do enough on the greens? POA is his best surface. I kind of like Streelman too at 6,700. If I had to pick between him and Ches, I probably would take Ches. If I had to pick between those two and Lanto Griffin, I would probably take Lanto Griffin at 6,500 yard. Don't discount Lanto. He finished 18th at the Tour Championship. He was 10th at the BMW. The BMW played brutal, a lot like the U.S. Open. He was 19th at the PGA Tour. I like Lanto Griffin, and I also like Brian Harman at 6,400. Not going to overpower you. It's going to hit a lot of fairways, and can putt. He can fill it up as well. 12th at the BMW, 11th at the Northern Trust, 27th at the Wyndham, 58th at the PGA. This is a player that I think could do some things at 6,400. So those are some names in that range as well. So hopefully that helps you fill out your lineup. It's a big field. There's a lot of ways you can go. I've spent a lot of time on this one, and I feel good about these names as I go to finish my lineup card before it all kicks off on Thursday morning. So be sure to fill out those lineups. Be sure to set up a new account. If you do, use promo code Travis, and you'll get that free $3 entry into the game that has $100,000 in total prizes, all kinds of sports going on. But I don't think I've been this excited for the U.S. Open in a long time. Thank you for watching the show. And hey, Dustin Johnson School of Golf up there in Myrtle Beach, thanks for the shirt. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week.